As you know, I can't really upload for a week on my channel, and that's because I kind of I did a little video for one of my friends, and you know, I it was like a Hitler edit. I don't know why I did that, but it was like fucking. I put like the song "Ich bin Grisson" by Ramstein, or just Songline by Ramstein, and I mean, I'll consider it to be a pretty good video. You know what I'm saying? A pretty good video. Why the fuck you had to stop me for? But anyway, I just wanted to you know, talk about the theories I have in my mind because I've been looking into a little bit of politics recently, a little bit what's been happening recently, and I would say that you know, we're kind of fucked in the way things are. Like I know probably Mayor Johnson is like at least like local politics. I think for Mayor Johnson, I think over some like a little bit of research or just like looking at it for a little bit, that he definitely has some good intentions. I just don't think that it's gonna work out as well because it's way too fucking like, okay, let me just do this. I'm gonna just text the highest paid person because they're rich or because they be oppressing us like the other worker side. Sure, but wouldn't that also mean that you're kind of taxing the ones that actually had to go work hard or like go to college just so they could get those type of jobs or just so they could be in those corporations? Of course, I don't agree with most of what they do. I don't agree with their associations. I don't agree with their mission, but I wouldn't just, just say, hey, I don't agree with you. I don't like you. Fuck you. So I'm going to tax you hella. I'm going to tax you a lot so that you could, you know, fuck off and leave us alone. Johnson, there's a different way to settle with things that don't have to be like that. Of course, I'm saying for I'm saying against like Johnson like first, and I'm gonna go against the city council because I think that they're also kind of fraudulent. I think Mayor Johnson has a good heart. I just don't think he's like intellectual when it comes to that. Like, I don't really think that he knows how to implement um those different laws well. Like even I would just say, hey, why don't you like for the same person who's kind of like poor or lower class? Why don't you also treat the same people like that? Why don't you just treat everybody like that? Because that's something that I'm sure everybody could agree with. Because not only does it show a good moral system, it could also like kind of open up a lot more things so that those same rich people might be more incentivized to open more positions. Now I'm saying this to do this in a little bit of the long run, as in like a year. If you notice that in a year, if that you know you do that, as in you charge everybody kind of like cheaply or just without any more taxes, especially the head tax, and you notice that they're not opening up anything or they're just talking, then go ahead, fuck it. Go ahead and do the head text because you know that maybe they're not gonna be actually meaning about their word and that their words don't mean shit because it's just out of like a certain position. Of course, I don't. Of course, I'm not gonna agree with anything the government has to say, not even local government, because for me, I would even say that I'm very close to being like anti-government because historically, I think that it failed. Like it failed as soon as it started. Like it should have been like resolved a long time ago. Like especially like in since the founding fathers. Hey, since the fucking beginning. Like you want to say from the founding fathers, you literally had different political parties that were also from Alexander Hamilton and followed up with that. Now, I would have to do more research as in what political parties that Alexander Hamilton led, but knowing from his life, he was someone who was very eloquent. Someone who always used to like write a lot, but he would always have something in the back of his mind to kind of like fuck with people. Which I don't like that because we kind of seen in the Trail of Tears that sure you could colonize a nation, but they're being very hypocritical when it comes to colonizing itself because isn't that something that we try to get away from? That the only reason why we're going over here or in some sense colonize was that so we could like get away from the British who would always colonize other nations themselves, such as India. And I just think that American law is very juxtaposed. I don't believe in any law that says anything or says a point and then goes back on it like a couple months later. Such as Trump's campaign where he's kind of like kidnapping Maduro and he's doing all these different things so that he could distract the people from the Epstein files so that he doesn't have to go to prison himself. But even if that was the case, he's not going to go to prison because he's rich. He's someone who has way too much power, way too much money. And even if he were to be exposed and kind of just like scrutinized, he wouldn't go to prison. He would just, I mean, a lot of people would try to kill him. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. A lot of people would try to kill him because, like, I mean, you're kind of risking people's lives for stupid ass wars or stupid ass conflicts so that you could just get away with being a pedophile. Like, that's you kind of see why I'd be like against that shit or against government. Because if it's already been fucked up since the beginning, and then led up onto this point where we're going to be funding a pedophile or a group or organization of pedophiles from a bureaucratic oligarchy of pedophiles that's supposed to be for a republic, you gonna see my point as to why I'll be against it. It's way too fucking much, and it's just overall like it's just hypocrisy. But I do think the city council in Chicago is flawed. I do think that you know, regarding to the Epstein files, I do believe that some of the alderman members might have been in the Epstein files, or at least been like on the island. I do believe that. I do believe think of the big names, you know? Think of like politicians and stuff like that. I would even say most of them, or at least 40 to 50% of them, like half. I would even say half of them probably went to fucking Epstein's Island. And how do I know? Because it's very open. People are talking about this like on a daily basis where more things are coming out and more things are being like displayed. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, an alderman member or a Chamber of Commerce member was to be on Epstein's Island. Again, why are we supporting pedophiles? Why are we my God. If we're a nation of immigrants, why the fuck are we going against different immigrants and even our own people just to get them out and kill them because they have a different belief than us? That's what breaks my head. And overall, I just think that the system is very flawed as to, you know, maintaining justice when you have different incidents like Ruby Ridge, the Waco siege, and the Tuskegee Institute. And I believe that what I noticed, even from like my own school, you know, even from what I noticed at the CPFTA, that they try to hide or they try to emphasize different parts of history so that the bad parts don't get out. And that's what pisses me off, because if you're going to talk about black history and if you're going to do all that, don't be sucking the dicks of black people. Actually fucking show what they're about. If you're gonna show slavery and all those things to show how bad white people are, show people like Marcus Garvey. Show the bad things about Martin Luther King. Show things that are going to be against black people as well, so that it doesn't seem as though it's just racist. Because the whole thing that they're trying to get away from at that time was racism. Of course, they did blame the white man because the white man blamed them, so it was fair. But the whole thing was just for integration, alignment, and just unification. Notice how in those things, in those three core elements of unification, that none of those organizations ever fucking cared about, because they always wanted to keep a name and reputation. That's what upsets me. That's what really pisses me off. That they'll lie and that they'll keep those things to themselves until it's too late, so that they could just come out with it and they won't get in trouble for it because it's too late. Or that you focus on a certain part of history, even if it's like the same type of time, that it only just shows the good parts of someone or a specific group of people instead of showing the whole part of the same group of people. And that's what I'm pissed off about, because Black History Month shouldn't be a thing, because it's just American history. It's no separate than if it's just Black History Month or American History Month or any of those things. It's just American history. Respect that shit. Because if you really want to talk about Black History Month, talk about the history in Africa. Talk about how colonizing countries like, England, Dutch, or is it even Dutch one? The Netherlands, the UK, Spain, Portugal, Germany. If you really want to talk about Black history, talk about Africa. Just talk about Africa at that point, because even everything since then, like when they came to the Americas, was just American history. It wasn't African history no more. The Africans literally sold them out so that they could get over here, so that they could get money, and then they got killed off anyway. You know how stupid that is? I mean, come on. Like, are you really being dead ass about kind of just showing the good parts of Black history when you have things like that? That's why I say Black History Month shouldn't be a thing, because it's just way too fucking juxtaposed, and I'm not gonna stand for it. I don't approve of black officers because they were walking juxtaposition. You have many reasons to be against the police, so why are you serving the government? The government will literally throw you under the fucking bus and literally frame you as as the bad guy, even if you did nothing wrong, such as Malcolm X, or such as, like Malcolm X, and who would be another person? Like Fred Jackson. But what I'm trying to say is that I don't approve of government. I don't approve of Black History Month. I don't approve of anything that has to like focus on the good parts of something when it should be the whole thing. Because I really just think that it's that organization is corrupt, and what I want is honesty and real and something to be vulnerable and valid. If you are not those things alone, if you are not honest or vulnerable, then I don't respect you. I hate you, and you shouldn't be allowed to serve the people, and vice versa. Because all you're gonna do is just be a disservice to the public and make it seem as though it's just, oh, it's a distraction, or oh, it's just, I'm just doing this so that I could just do this for y'all later. Oh, I'm just raising y'all taxes so that I could get y'all more food or something, even though they're literally causing wars in different countries in the Middle East. Or they might make it seem as though it's a different political party or it's a different person just because they don't want to take accountability, such as Donald Trump. And my future theories for what might happen in the future is I don't believe, I mean, maybe, but I don't believe there will be a civil war, but I am very certain that it could be a possibility. I do believe um we will be sold in a way, like ourselves, our humanity, our personalities will be sold in a very technological way, only just because we do use technology and AI a lot. So I believe that's a possibility. I do believe drones will be used as a military weapon or a military tool to go kill people. I do believe um there will be a lot of statutes and laws against making of guns, or the distribution of guns, or just whatnot, when it comes to even having like a gun license or whatnot, when it's literally in the Constitution that especially the Second Amendment, that states the right to bear arms. The right to bear arms means you can have a weapon, you can have a gun, you can make a gun, you can make weapons. All you need is just a license. Now, if they just make it seem as though, oh, the right to bear arms only just means having a pistol at home or having like a shotgun at home, it's kind of limiting to everybody else, because if you have nukes, why are we being limited to pistols and shotguns? It doesn't make sense. Plus, you have multiple militaries and fucking PMC organizations to go help you if need be. So what's the problem with us making guns and having that being distributed if it's first of all authorized and it's legal, and if it's not doing a disservice as to like not breaking the Constitution that y'all made. And overall, my theories is just, I do believe Trump he will get sick. He might die soon. I'm not saying that so like anybody will kill him, because I don't want that. I'm just saying that because of his old age and just stress and all that, I just think that he's gonna get sick. I think that with the way people are acting now, it's gonna be chaos. I do believe technology will be used in an offensive manner, and I believe it will be another American Revolution where a lot of things would change, a lot of histories would change, a lot of months would change. Just everything would just be different and revolutionized. But of course, if you have anything to add, if you have any questions for me, let me know. I thank you, and I'll see you.